Good day, everyone. Before we start, I would like to introduce myself. I am Eliza Fernacio, and our topic is all about resolving and transforming conflict. It involves identifying and addressing the underlying issue causing the conflict and finding mutually beneficial solutions that satisfy the needs and interests of all parties involved. First of all, what is conflict and why do conflict arise? Conflict refers to a disagreement or clash of interests, ideas, or action between two or more individuals or groups. It can arise due to various reasons such as differences in values, beliefs, interests, goals, or perceptions. Conflict can occur in personal relationships, work environments, and among nations. They can range from mild disagreements to violent confrontation. Conflict can arise due to misunderstanding, a lack of communication, competition, power struggle, cultural differences, and many other factors. Including this scenario is the sample of conflict.
You know what? I heard she is pregnant. And her boyfriend left her.
Oh, really? What
Yes, I
happened?
don't know.
What did you say?
Why? I'm just telling the truth.
Can you please stop spreading fake news? You don't know the story behind it.
Gossiping and spreading fake news can cause harm to an individual's reputation and can spread false information about them. It is also create division among people, leading to conflict and discord.
What prevents us resolving our conflict? There are several factors that can prevent us from resolving our conflict. Some common reasons include: what is the common reasons include? We have emotional involvement, lack of communication, different perspective. What is emotional involvement? When we are emotionally invested in a conflict, it can be difficult to see the situation objectively and find a solution that works for everyone involved. Emotions such as anger or fear or hurt can should our judgment and make it hard to communicate effectively. What is lack of communication skills? Lack of communication skills is effectively communication for resolving conflicts, but not everyone has the necessary skills. Poor communication, such as interrupting, blaming, or being defensive, can escalate conflicts rather than resolving them. What is different perspective? Different perspectives is a conflict often arises because have different perspectives, opinion, and values. If we are unwilling or unable to see the other person's point of view, it can be challenging to find a mutually acceptable solution. What is anger and its effect? Anger is an emotion characterized by feeling irritation, frustration, or hostility. It is naturally human emotion that arises in response to a received treat and justice of frustration. While anger can be healthy, normal response to a certain situation, it is also have negative effects on both individuals and society of as a whole. Some effect of anger. Physical effect when someone is angry in their body gets into a fight or flight response, which can lead to a physical system such as increased heart rate, related blood pressure, and muscle tension. Mental effect. Mental effect. Anger can impair cognitive function such as memory, attention, and decision making. Relationship effect. Relationship effect. Anger can have negative effect in relationship. It can lead to verbal or physical abuse, distancing or withdrawals, and the breakdown of communication and trust. It is important to manage it in a healthy and constructive way. Techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, and therapy can help people learn to manage their anger effectively and minimize its negative effect on their well-being and relationships.
How do we manage our anger? Managing anger can be a challenging task, but it is an important skill to develop for our emotional and physical well-being, as well as our relationship with others. Here are some strategies we can use to manage our anger. Recognize your triggers. Seek support. Take a time out. Remember that managing anger is a process that takes time and practice. With patience and persistence, you can develop healthier ways of managing your emotions and improving your relationship with others.
How do we directly express our anger? Here are the suggestions on how you can express your anger in a non-threatening way. Move away. It is one of the simplest things you can do to handle the situation. Take a deep breath. Deep breathing has a very good impact when it comes to calming your nerves. Write journal. Writing down your feelings either on a piece of paper or an email to yourself can do wonders. Also, reflecting the trigger for your anger can be a step forward. Next, avoid alcohol when you are angry. Alcohol overpowers your emotions, making it difficult for a person to make rational decisions. Releasing anger through creative means, drawing, painting, or coloring can have a calming effect on the mind and can totally help you release anger effectively.
What are the main options in dealing with conflicts? There are various options for dealing with conflicts depending on the nature and severity of the conflict. Here are some main options. Avoidance. Avoidance is a strategy where parties in conflict choose not to engage with each other or the issue. This option can be useful in some situations but can also lead to the escalation of the conflict if unresolved. Collaboration. Collaboration is a process where parties in conflict work together to find solution that meets everyone's needs. This option involves open communication, brainstorming, and compromise. Compromise is a process where parties in conflict agree to a solution that partially meets each party's needs. This option involves both parties giving up some of what they want to reach a mutually acceptable solution.
What are the steps in the collaborative in problem solving? The procedure used in the collaborative problem solving approach entails several people or groups coming together to identify and fix a problem.
The general phases in this method are as follows.
We have to identify the issue. The first stage is to identify and comprehend the issue. This entails determining the issue's underlying cause and how it affects certain people or groups. Next is to create a team. After a problem discovered, a group of people with various backgrounds and specialties are put together to work on it. People with the knowledge, abilities, and resources required to tackle the challenge should be in the team. Create a strategy. Creates a plan to put the chosen solution into action. Clear goals, objectives, timetables, and roles should all be included in the strategy. Lastly is the assess the outcomes. Following the execution of the strategy, the team assesses the outcomes to decide whether the issue has been solved. The team then refines the approach as needed to guarantee long-term success. Communication, attentive listening, and respect for various perspectives are crucial for success during the collaborative problem-solving process. What are some tips for a good dialogue? Here are some tips for a good dialogue. First, you have to listen actively. One of the most important elements of a good dialogue is active listening. Give the other person your full attention. and try to understand their perspectives. Next is be present. Focus on the conversation at hand and avoid distractions such as your phone and other activities. And of course, show interest. Show genuine interest in the other persons and what they have to say. Ask questions and engage with their ideas. Avoid judgment. Try to approach the conversation with an open mind and avoid being judgmental of the other person's opinions. Be respectful. Treat the other person with respect, even if you disagree with their views or ideas. Be concise. Keep your responses concise and to the point, and avoid rambling or going off on tangents. And lastly, use humor. Humor can be a great way to lighten the mood and make the conversation more enjoyable. By following these tips, you can have engaging and meaningful conversations that helps you connect with others and learn from their perspective.
What is mediation? Mediation is a voluntary process designed to reach a neutral agreement. Those who use mediation should expect to argue their perspective, provide evidence, and willing to give up certain demands to determine an arrangement that satisfies all parties involved. What is conflict transformation? Conflict transformation is a broader and more comprehensive approach to dealing with conflicts compared to conflict resolution. It focuses on addressing the underlying cause and dynamics of a conflict and seeks to bring about positive and long-lasting changes in relationships, structures, and social systems. 3 key principles and concept of conflict transformation: structural analysis, relationship building, and long-term perspective. Structural analysis: understanding the underlying social, economics, political, and cultural factors that contribute to conflict. This involves examining power dynamics, inequalities, system issues that perpetuate the conflict. Relationship building: emphasizing the importance of building trust, empathy, and understanding between conflicting parties. This involves creating opportunities for dialogue, promoting inclusive participation, and fostering sense of shared identity and common interests. Long-term perspective: recognizing that conflict transformation is a process that requires long-term commitment. It acknowledges that conflicts are not always resolved immediately, but may require ongoing effort and address deep-rooted issues and transform relationship and systems.